Art-Centric Podcast with Rafi and Klee.
Happy New Year,
Happy
you guys.
New Year. Happy New Year.
2024.
Oh, it's here.
Hi,
2024
Nerdflow.
is here. Hey, guys.
Hi, Sarah.
So this is going to be a strange one. I'm not even sure that I'm going to use this as a podcast because obviously, if you guys, some of you guys know, if you got the emails and stuff, that we are switching over from the Rogue site this morning to back to Patreon. And I've got all the feels, all the emotions are happening right now.
Yeah.
But long story short, all year last year, we kept running into glitches with different plugins and things that were like messing up. And I found myself, I would say that the majority of my time was spent doing technical. I was like the IT guy.
Putting out the glitch fires.
And like getting into the studio only when I could, because I was spending a lot of time working on the back end of a computer instead of like getting into the studio.
Also, I think this transition is also very much in line with what we're thinking about and feeling for this new year, which is really like, even if it's a little tricky to like really follow your feelings and your gut and really find the fun and believe in the magic and believe that everything is working out exactly how it should.
So like, I love that your nerd flow is like halfway here, but you're in my ear. I love that. That
Yeah.
rhymes. I would say, so like my question for you guys is, do you have a word? I think really it was one of the rogues, Christina Andrews,
Yeah.
a few years ago was like, what's the word?
What's your word going into this new year?
What's your word going into this new year? And like, have you guys thought about that? Like, what is your word? It's almost like a mantra. Like, what is your word going into the new year? My word for 2024 is magic.
It's a good
Right?
one.
And if there's a sentence to that, is bring back magic. Like, that's basically it. The word magic for me encompasses so much. It's just happiness and living in a state where you're not allowing yourself to dig in or do things that like you don't enjoy. It's like allowing the magic of life to return. And that's really, really my intention. 2023 was simplify, which I think is hilarious because it was at the very end of the year. There were certain things we were holding on to.
But we got there.
And we got there. But then at the very beginning of the year, the one last holdout, which was kind of holding on to the Rogue site and the work that goes with it, just kind of glitched. And it felt like it was a sign. You know, like this was your intention for 2023. Now you're going to have to make this happen.
Wendell said, what was the word you connected to the Labradorite earrings? That word is why I got them, but I don't remember. Help. That word is transformation.
Transformation. That's a good word.
Mm-hmm. Leslie's is joy.
Joy.
C
C
and
and
B.
B. Oh, I love that, Leslie.
Tish is perseverance.
Perseverance. That's a great word. That's a great
Indeed.
word. And that's the way that I use it is like whenever there's something where I'm like, okay, I'm not sure which direction to head or like what I'm going to do or like, like where you get whatever. Then I stop, I pause, and I just repeat the word magic. And I just remind myself like magic. I am focused this year on the magic of life.
Absolutely. Valerie said a friend picked leap and didn't realize it was a leap year.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
It is a leap year.
It is.
Rachel said mine's is go.
I love it. I love it.
My word is discover, said Jennifer.
Jennifer, I love that.
Ooh, that's really
That's
good too.
a good word.
Diego said my word is upgrade. I'll be upgrading everything in my life and art. That is awesome.
That is awesome, Diego.
Wendell said transformation.
Transformation.
Yeah. Shroy said discipline.
Discipline.
That is awesome. Jay said my word is failure. I plan on embracing it to grow in my art and trying my hand at art festivals.
That is so good, Jay. That is so good. I love that. I love that.
Barbara said, my word, missed the feed, breathe is my word to help me slow down and regulate. Breathe
That's
is
great.
a good one.
Breathe is a good one.
My word is feel. And I chose feel because I spent a lot of time in my head the last couple of years I like to think, it's fun to think, but I was using thinking against myself in a lot of scenarios last year. And it's been very helpful for me so that I don't ruminate or run myself in circles in my brain jar, to just stop and be like, how does this thought make me feel? And then if it makes me feel really crummy, then I throw out the thought. And if it makes me feel good, then I keep it. So I am going to feel my way through 2024.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
Thank you.
Like, how does this thing that I'm doing make me feel?
Yeah, and it really does like create a pattern interrupt when I'm in a thought loop that I can't get out of. Inert Flow said, as always, mine is flow. We have a ton of projects in the works and we're optimizing our flow, streamlining and simplifying for maximum impact.
Yeah, even though last year my word was simplify, I am carrying that over to this year as well.
Definitely.
Because when you simplify your life, it's kind of like if you have a lot of clothes in your closet.
And you only wear like 5 things.
And you only wear 5 things, and you decide that you're going to do a purge. Like, I'm going to do this purge. And then you go in your closet and you kind of pick a few things. And then a month goes by and you realize that there's still a bunch of crap in your closet that you don't wear. And so, like, that's why I feel like simplifying, because, like, at the end of it, like, we simplified things so much and we really, really got a nice routine going. But I'm realizing that there's still stuff that can be streamlined a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So like that's where I'm at too.
Tish said, fantastic. Leap year gives us an extra day to get things done. Also, thank you for reminding me how leap year works, because in my brain jar, it was 1 less day somehow. No, it's an extra day. That's right.
I just finished doing the calendars. I showed you that we had leap year day.
I don't know. Fiona said, I've settled on the word light in all senses. That's great
beautiful,
word.
Fiona. That's beautiful.
Lisa said, balance for now, till I hear everyone else's. Lol. 0 Point said, my word is explode. A reminder to stop holding myself back.
Love that. I love that too. Yeah.
Valerie said, mine was transformation, and now I need to add magic to that.
Magic transformation. I love that, Valerie. That's great.
Leslie said, yes. Aurora said, I think I will go with hope this year. You guys know my situation.
Hope is good.
Absolutely, hope is good. Aurora.
Hope and resilience to me are like hand in hand. Mm-hmm. Those are words that it's like, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep my head up high and keep moving forward.
And hope is magic.
It is.
And light really is magic, and love is magic, and they're all in the same energy sphere. Sarah said, my word is paint. My second word is paint. My third word is now. Those are good, Sarah.
Paint now.
Sarah said, energy is a good word.
Energy is a good word.
Mm-hmm. Valerie said, what will you do with your extra day?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. What will we do with our extra day?
My mind immediately went to work. You gotta work. Like I said, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm a recovering workaholic.
That was not a Freudian slip.
It would be a totally different situation if I was a recovering, yeah.
What will we do with our extra day? The extra day happens in February.
Yep.
Right? End of February.
Next month. It's my birthday month, which means that I have an extra birthday day.
Yes, you do.
Because I decided to claim the entire month of February as my birthday.
Which is absolutely correct in doing. Cass said health. Mental, physical, and emotional.
Beautiful, Cass. Beautiful.
So not that
so important. So important.
Absolutely. And I feel like actually my choice to go with the word feel has everything to do with health as well. Mm-hmm. And fun.
Yeah.
And magic. So not that we're going to lock ourselves into any decisions we make today, but I think it's fun to think about what you will do with an entire day.
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of like what Valerie says, you can technically use it any day.
That's true. You could be like, today's my leap day. Sarah said, mine is fun after watching one of the last videos. Need to keep it in perspective as to why I'm doing this so I don't get stressed.
Yes. And you know what? So what's interesting, what I found was like I set this intention a while ago, and I was like, all right, so I'm going to wake up in the morning, and basically every morning I'm going to just pause for a moment, right? Because I'm the kind of person that in the morning, like I like to just jump right into whatever it is that I had planned or whatever it was that I was doing or whatever it is that needs to get done. And that's great, right? It seems like, oh, he's so motivated. But unless you take a pause to like really straighten out your brain jar in the mornings, just that pause for yourself to take a breath. And you basically run yourself. It's easy to run yourself ragged because then you get into this weird routine where all you're doing is just jumping on whatever you feel that needs to get done. And so like in the mornings, I've made it a point to just pause, just stop, maybe drink some water before coffee or something, and just really think of the word, right? My word. What is my focus for the day? What is the intention for my year? And my intention for the year. And then I think to myself, what adventure am I going to experience today? Right? Regardless if I'm leaving the house or staying in the house or whatever, what adventure am I going to experience today? And I allow myself to feel appreciation for the moment and for whatever the adventure is that it's going to be. And sometimes, the adventures are a little less positive than you want them to be. But it allows me to take a pause and really think, like, what is my perspective going to be that day? Now, here's the interesting thing about that, right? So I set the intention of like magic. Magic is my word for the year. I thought that, had a nice conversation with Clea about it. It was great. The next morning, I totally forgot.
It happens.
And then reminded myself at some point, and then it was like, all right, I'm not forgetting it. And then the next morning, I totally forgot.
It happens.
And like, but I think that it's just that work in progress where you get to that place where then it becomes habitual, where you're like, this is, you know what, I'm going to just pause for a moment every morning. And it doesn't have to be long. You don't have to sit there for an hour or anything like that. You literally, there are some mornings where I sit there for 15 minutes, but I do think that that's so important because you get to remind yourself of like, what is my overarching theme here that I'm going for, despite of what's happening today or what's going to be going on. And it's really slowly but surely, and this is something that I've, done in the past, it really sets a modus operandi for you that really encapsulates the entire year. And so like, I'm very excited about setting that intention this year to see like what's going to come of it, like what's going to happen. And a lot of your guys' words is awesome. Like I'm excited to see what's going to happen, what's going to come of that, of just setting that intention every day.
Yeah. Tish said, I declared December as my birthday month, so I resonate with that, Rafi. Cass said, I've been going camping more often, and I love being amongst the trees, so I might go camping for an extra day. That's good.
Oh, that's
a good
awesome.
plan.
I love that. I love that.
And Sarah said, so now we got to give you 29 gifts.
I'll take them.
Tish said, I take a 15-minute pause every morning just to feel the sun on my face. Excellent.
Yes.
When the sun is out, that is. It has really helped relieve some stress that was carried over from the day before.
That's great.
That's a great practice. I fall in and out of that practice, but when I remember to step outside and just look at the sky, feel the air, and feel the sun if the sun is there, that rhymed.
Yep.
Didn't mean to make that rhyme. It really does feel good. Barbara said, I'm trying to establish the same morning routine. Difficult to be consistent.
Yeah, you just got to stick with it. And by stick with it means like you totally don't do it one day and then you remember and then you just do it and you just keep doing it as you remember. And sometimes it's just a matter of like there are things that I have timers set on my phone that like bring up that reminder to remind me. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because I know where I'm at emotionally when the timer comes up and I'm like, I don't have time for this, like that kind of thing. But then I push through that and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna I'm gonna take the time. If I set the intention, then I'm gonna have to do it.
Ginny said, my morning wake-up words are thank you. Those are
Jenny,
great.
those are great.
I find that I often feel that way when I wake up too. The moment I'm conscious and I realize he's alive and so am I, I do feel gratitude. So that's good.
I mean, yeah, that is good.
That is a good feeling to wake up with. Inert Flow said, my adventure today, I'm dragging trees across acres of land. Flow applies because a slow, steady flow is effective and more sustainable than torrent.
Torrent pacing myself. Yes. Yes, that is so good.
Definitely.
I know it's real life, but it's a great analogy.
Jenny said, sometimes I forget to say it, and when I remember, I say, sorry, thank you.
Oh, I love that, Jenny.
That's like Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian tradition of, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sometimes I repeat that in my head as a mantra. Valerie said, February is my birthday month, too.
Sweet.
Yeah, Yin's get an extra birthday day.
We do.
I feel like...
Well, it's because, every year we get less birthday days.
This is
than
true.
every other month. So like one month a year we get that extra day and we're like, yeah.
I feel like it would be a good I'm on board for myself with just doing magic all day on Leap Day. Like extra meditation time, maybe spend some time with some rocks that I really love in my rock collections. Try to move things with my mind for a little while for fun. Maybe do some musical magic. Spend some time outside. It'll probably be cold, but even still. Esther said February is my birth month too. All you February borns.
All the February babies. We're the weird ones. We're the really weird ones, which is great.
You're good weird.
We're good weird.
Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely.
I think about the extra day. It's funny because I think of an extra day and I do think to myself, like, what adventure? Like, I love what Cass was saying about going camping. I love the idea of like just acknowledging that there is an extra day and just like making it an adventure day. Although every day should be an adventure day, but like just purposefully saying like, what adventure am I going to go on this day? Obviously in February, it's a little cold.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah, sometimes it's not.
It depends.
We are the weird ones, yes.
I think I like the idea of specifically doing a thing that brings you great joy, or many things that bring you great joy that perhaps you don't feel that you have time for, since this is extra time that you get to have. Maybe it would be a self-pampering day. Maybe it would be like a complete Dada day where it's like all the ludicrous, that's not a responsible thing to do things you get to do on that day.
I feel like that's another intention or another thing that I want to focus on this year is being a little bit more irresponsible when it comes. It's funny, when we got this house and something strange happened in my brain jar where all of a sudden there was a part of me that was like, well, now I got to be a grown up. And honestly, that was the part that I think early on was really stressing me out a bit. And eventually I was like, oh, I don't need to be responsible. Like, I'm the same person that I've always been. Like,
being responsible is butts.
I'm responsible enough. Like, and I think it's like that responsibility of like trying to prove to other people that you are responsible, right? By being whatever that version of being a responsible human is. And I'm like, I'm just a good human. Like, I don't have to worry about being quote unquote responsible. Kirkman, hey.
Hi, Ethan. Aurora said, I had a friend years ago whose birthday was on leap year day. She loved to joke about it. That's awesome.
That is so cool. Sarah said, February 4th, I too am expecting 29 gifts.
29 gifts. That's for awesome. The February borns. Play Leapfrog on Leap Year Day. Definitely could be part of Leap Year Day. Go forth and be a silly artist.
Yes, indeed. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, as an artist, like I said before, we were running a successful business. We lived in an apartment, but it was almost like I had this like I had developed this mentality where it was like, well, whatever, you know, like I don't care. I'm sure I'm running a business, but like I'm not going to make my business hard or be one of those people that's like, yes, but I'm really responsible and this is how you whatever. And then something just kind of like did something when we got the house, because immediately it was like, well, now we have a mortgage, and I'm like, that's not any different than paying rent.
Nay.
You know, like, and so like there were things that I just that last year I let go of because simplifying, and it had a lot to do with that whole aspect of being responsible. And this year I think that that's where I'm carrying on, and that's where magic comes in, because magic is like the idea. If you and this is my belief, right? And it can be very airy-fairy to some people. If you get up in the morning and you're focusing on an intention, first off, you're focusing on deliberately like what you want to focus on, right? And you've got this overall theme that just connects your days to one another. And then you are deciding to focus on appreciation, the things that you appreciate, right? Because it's proven scientifically that if you are focused on the things that you appreciate, you tend to spot more opportunities. And since you stress out less because you train your brain to look at what's working versus what's not working. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where it's like incremental, like every day that you do it. And I found also, because I don't know if any of you guys like do the appreciation exercises, or what are they called? Gratitude exercises. I found also that you don't have to do like a list of 10. You don't have to do a list of anything. All you have to do is feel some kind of appreciation for anything. Mm-hmm. For anything. And
it could be as simple as like, man, toothbrushes are really good.
I know, toothbrushes are great, you know. Hey, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. Hi, I make that. Sarah said, I desperately, and then left us hanging. The suspense.
Aurora, woohoo! Just sold another book. Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations, Aurora.
Yeah, it's just I think it's like I said, it sounds airy-fairy, but you're waking up and you're being deliberate about what you're going to think about that day. And I truly believe, because I've experienced it, that is a very powerful thing to do, especially in being an artist and dealing with financial things or making decisions and making choices, because it's very easy to get wrapped up in the financial aspects of things and really make choices that are based on you just chasing a carrot versus setting a deliberate intention and saying, all right, well, that road seems like it might be beneficial, but I really don't want that. Like, I don't want the stress that comes with that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take this road. And it really does make me think of like Harry Potter, where he gets the
Felix Felicis.
Yeah, the good luck potion. And it's kind of like just trusting that your gut is going to lead you where it is that you want to go without the plans or the scheming that comes along with a lot of that stuff.
I just thought, as you were saying that about carrots, I thought to myself, why chase a carrot when you could grow like a beep load of carrots?
That's pretty good. That's really good.
Why chase a carrot when you can grow one?
I mean, quite literally, all you have to do is cut off the top and get it going.
It's funny that they are actually quite easy to grow. So like,
chasing a carrot,
it's just a practical thing, yes, but also just like the metaphor resonates with me right now. Ginny said, in nature things, when I see something that is wonderful to me, I say, hello, how are you? I love you. I've done that since I was a tiny little kid.
I love that, Ginny.
That's so
I
great.
love that. I remember I had days where I would wake up and go outside, and this is going to sound weird, right? But we're this is a safe space. I'd wake up in the morning and I would literally see butterflies dancing. You know, you see the butterflies dancing around each other. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, these butterflies are saying good morning. And then I'd feel like every little pebble or stone was saying good morning. And it would just make me feel like I was in a Disney movie. And that was part of that whole magical like feeling of, and I'd feel really, really good just because like I felt like the world around me loved me. And it's funny because it all takes place in your imagination or maybe somewhere else, depending on where you believe, what you believe. But like it was powerful. It was powerful enough to like really, really carry me in a very positive aspects type of day where, you know, it doesn't mean that things aren't going to, you know, things that aren't great aren't going to happen. But when they would happen, it wouldn't have such a dire, I wouldn't have such a dire perspective in dealing with it. And I think that really helped carry me along through building the art career because, you know, a lot of stuff could have seemed disappointing, you know. I can't even tell you how many shows I've done where I sold squat. But I never walked away from that show feeling like a loser or a failure or anything, maybe at first, because I was so focused on what did work, the things that did happen, the conversations that I had, the new people that I had met, the breeze, anything that I could focus on that was going to bring me joy during that experience. And it just completely changes your perspective of that. And then in the future, you actually look forward to doing these things that we all know are going to help us grow and grow as artists or as humans or as whatever. But a lot of times you get so focused on what didn't work, like, oh, I didn't sell anything or this, you know, and all that stuff. And essentially it just becomes kind of nightmarish for you to do it in the future. Whereas if you're just focused on the things that went right and the things that it really carries you. It carries you to keep going.
Absolutely. Valerie said, oh, that's good, Clee. Carrot. The carrot. Ginny said, give a man a carrot. He eats one salad.
Yes.
I just had another funny thought. And since this podcast is New Year, New You, I'm just sharing all of my funny thoughts with you.
Which, by the way, you guys, we were thinking of Collab Lab at one point, and I had been thinking in my brain, like, New Year, New You. I was like, that is so cheesy. And then later on, I asked Clay, I was like, hey, what do you think of Collab Lab? Do you have any ideas? And Clay was like, the only thing I could think of is New Year, New You. And that's so cheesy.
We were like, hey. But I love the idea of these words being the collab.
Yeah.
So my funny thought was, because I sold squat was such a thing that artists like dread at shows, is that we should all have a sticker that we design and have printed and have on hand of squats, of someone doing squats, and just include those with our artwork at shows so that we can say with a smile on our face, I sold squat today, and lots of it. Huh?
I'm going to have to write that down.
I also want a t-shirt that says, why chase carrots when you can grow them?
All right.
I sold squat. With you know, like one of those old school illustrations of like
the person
mustachioed
doing squats.
Yes.
That's great.
Tyler said, I've been struggling with a word. I think my word for this year will be jumpstart. I really want to make bigger strides getting my work out there while doing more.
Yeah. That's really good. Jumpstart. Mm-hmm. The other thing I would say, Tyler, is to remind yourself, because this is something that I really thought of, especially in the very beginning, because, you know, I wanted to take every opportunity. And the other thing to remind yourself is that just by thinking about it, you're already doing it. You know, like you're already doing it. Just the fact that you put out that intention and are thinking about a word and saying jumpstart. What is the word that's going to get me through stuff, right? So like when you're faced with doing something and you feel like you're not ready, right? And you remind yourself, you're like, you know what? Jumpstart. Boom. And then you go and you just do it. You just do it. And you just keep doing it. And you keep trying new things and falling on your face and whatever. And you have that intention, that word that says all of this, all the failures and all the stuff that isn't working out, this is all part of this journey. This is all part of this journey. And it's all powerful. And you walk away from that growing, even if you feel like you've taken like 10 steps back, it's impossible to take any steps back. You are constantly moving forward and constantly growing.
Yep.
So that's great. I love that. Jumpstart.
Always leveling up, even if you're not doing anything. You're still leveling up. What up, Zara?
What up, Sarah? Jennifer said, I spend my summers watching the butterflies. I love that. So do we. We watch the butterflies in the garden.
They're so good. I love them. Aurora said, I heard it described in a book once as psychic magnetism.
Psychic
Oh, yeah.
magnetism. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, Zara was, what up? Hang on. There we go. Ginny said, teach a man to grow a carrot and he eats salads forever.
Forever.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Zara said, versus jump scare. Yes.
That's my intention for 2024 is, what is it that we called that? When I would jump out and be like, I love you.
Oh, scareplementing.
Scareplementing. That's right. I wrote it in my book. Scareplementing. 2024.
Ambushing someone with compliments.
With compliments and love.
Rachel said, brilliantly, I sold squat. I'm doing that. I am.
I love that idea. I am going to create like a card or something and just put that in everything and just give it to people and be like, yeah, I sold squat today.
And then
I gave away squat.
your customer also can go home and be like, I bought squat at the market today.
My grandma used to
Sell round Tuit coasters.
Tuit coasters.
Jumpstart is the same as Go, said Rachel.
It is. It really is. That's good. Yeah, go. You think to yourself like, oh, because that's the problem. I think the problem is that for a lot of things, and it's funny because, again, and I say this a lot, we've been doing this for a long time. Like this is what we do for a living, and even still, there's so many times that I have to be like, just do it. Just do it.
Begin.
And it's funny because Clea and I are different in that aspect. I am one of those people that just jumps and just goes for it. But even I don't always want to.
Sometimes he does, and I'm like, unacceptable.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't want to, except that I have formed that habit of just telling myself like, well, whatever, let's just do this thing. Just do it anyway.
Indeed. Esther said, listening has brought me what I've been struggling to find. My word/phrase for 2024, it's going to be make it easy.
Make it easy. I love that.
The subtext is make it easy to do what's right and good. Applies to health, finances, art, relationships.
Beautiful, Esther. That is perfect.
That is perfect.
Yeah. And what I would suggest, and this is going to sound cheesy, is to write it down like on a note card, create a piece of art or something that is right by your phone. If your phone is the first thing that you look at in the morning, or whatever it is that is the first thing that you look at in the morning.
Make it your phone wallpaper.
Make it your phone wallpaper. Create a case on your phone that says it. Something where it is just there as a daily reminder, kind of in your face, and there's going to be days where it's in your face and you're like, I don't want to hear it, because life happens, but at least it's there and it's constantly reminding you of the intention that you set. And I would say that what's really important here, right? What is the most important, and this is something that I have to watch for, is that you don't turn that same intention into a symbol of disappointment.
Definitely.
Because
don't use this against yourself.
Don't use it against yourself. And just understand too that if you happen to find yourself there, that's just part of the normal routine of how this works. It's not, it's not because other people could do this just fine and I can't. That's not true. Everyone goes through that. You're going to want to turn the thing that is supposed to inspire you into the thing that demotivates you, because then you just feel like, if you're like, I set the intention to be prolific this year, and you spend a week not creating stuff because life, it's easy to look at that being prolific intention and then feel bad about it and realize that like, that's not, I said this year, right? Doesn't mean that I'm, that I have to slave away in the studio every single day and create 100 pieces a week. It just means that I'm going to be more prolific than I was last year. How many pieces did you create last year? You create one more, then you're more prolific.
Indeed.
Plain and simple.
Zara said, I've hesitated too much with my intuition, and just go is a good practice.
It is a great practice.
So I guess it's go as my word. That's a good word. Aurora said, in other words, we'll get around to it.
To it. Oh,
Around
I love
to it coaster.
I love it.
Aurora, I was waiting for it to either click in my brain jar or for you to give it to us.
Thank you.
And you gave it to us. So thank you, Get Around to It coaster. That's pretty awesome. I love it. Hi, Diane.
Hey,
Diane
Diane
said, I almost missed the video. The holidays have screwed me up, but I'm getting back into the swing of things.
That's how I'm feeling. The holidays were a lot this year, I would say. We still managed to have fun, and we did a few things, but it was a little crazy with all the changes that we've had recently and stuff.
It was a lot of fun, but it also was like a lot.
That's
We
why
were overstimulated on many occasions.
we were overstimulated on many occasions. It's funny because a lot of people think that like I'm like a total extrovert, right? Not that I don't like labeling myself extrovert or introvert or anything like that, but like a lot of people think that like I'm like really like outgoing and have no issue or problems talking to people, and that's true. However, it's also very not true. I easily can crawl into myself when there's a lot going on, a lot of people or a lot going on. And we had some amazing guests at the house for New Year's Eve, and I found myself like just at one point just kind of crawling and being like, there's too much happening.
Even though it was great fun.
Yeah, it was.
Lisa said, nope, I'm skipping around. Diane said this year is the focus is on quality over quantity.
Quality over
Excellent.
quantity. Slow down. That's my biggest one, is like just slow down. Have fun doing this. I just recently did a Me and It sculpture, the first of the Me and It sculptures. And I just got goosebumps.
It's so cool.
I am so excited because I wanted to do something where I was bringing this creature to life, like a physical form, like this can actually exist out there. And I managed to pull it off with the Me and It, and immediately my brain was like, all right, I'm going to do the full series. And I have like 20 little things 20 of them that I have planned. And I wanted to do them all in one day. And
Impossible.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, that's where I remind myself, slow down, enjoy the process.
Definitely.
Because the joy is in the process. It really is. It's not in getting it right or not having the finished. It's great looking at the finished items, but the joy is in the process. And in order to really, really be in that state of flow, you got to slow down and not put a time limit to it.
Esther said, I have a big journal that I write all my yearly trajectories in.
Oh, I
That's
love
good.
it. I love it.
Lisa said, yep, that was my word last year, prolific, and it was pressure inducing instead of inspiring.
Right. Yeah, you gotta be good to yourself, Like, I love the word prolific. I love the idea, that was my intention for a few years in a row, where I was like, I'm going to be more prolific than I was last year. And honestly, I want to be more prolific this year than I was last year, because I didn't get into the studio as often as I wanted to. But it's so easy to turn any of these words into a nightmare scenario where you're like, oh, it's just showing me how much of a failure I am. And it's not meant to do that. Prolific is just, I created more work than I did last year. You're not comparing yourself to anyone else. It's just you, and saying like, even if it's one more piece, then I was more prolific than I was last year.
Or even if it's less pieces, but you felt more creative flow in doing them, that's still prolific.
Yeah, exactly.
Ginny said, speaking of February birthdays, I was supposed to be born in February, but I was 2 weeks early, so I'm a January. My dad would say that's why I don't know my place. Ginny, you do strike me as a February born.
Yeah.
You've got that, like, Aquarian energy.
Yeah, you just decided to take over 2 months.
Yeah, you were like,
Yeah.
I'm doing this. Zara said, I'm easily one or the other, intro versus extrovert, depending on the situation. Right, and that's pretty much how all people...
I mean, I feel like it's a moving scale. Like, if you guys have read my books, you know that I despise labels. I don't want to be labeled something because that minimizes my potential by, even if I label myself and I'm like, well, I am just this way. And it's like, you're not, you are so much more expansive than just one single way of being or one single way of thinking. Like, we're constantly evolving and changing. And so to me, like, having like labels that seem like they're set in stone is just it's trash. It's trash. So in my mind, I'm like, when it comes to that whole introvert, extrovert thing or ambivert, like, it's just all these words. I'm like, it's on a sliding scale, because no matter how introverted you are, when you're amongst your friends, you're not introverted. You're gonna behave in an outward way, and it goes. And then when you're in a situation where you're uncomfortable, like, you get introverted. You get a little bit more closed in.
We are definitely on a sliding scale or a spectrum or however you want to look at it. Like, it's not a static thing.
Yeah.
Nothing is. Nothing
is.
Let's see. Oh, I Make That said, I saw that post of the sculpture and it looks amazing.
Thank you.
Aurora said you can do it because now you've got around to it. Around to it is so cute. I love that. Rachel said, yes, the sculpture is fantastic. Well done.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. I'm so stoked.
Esther said, I'm going to have one of those sculptures.
Aw, thank you, Esther.
Zara said, I'm prolific the easy way.
The easy way. That was, that's actually an intention that I thought of, like, for myself for this year, but it didn't quite cover where I'm at. And it might be an intention that I set for one of the years to come, which is not just make it easy, be lazy about it. I think
that's like your life kind of mantra right now.
Yeah, be lazy about it. Because, like, honestly, being lazy gets a lot of slack, right? Slack? Is that what it is? Flack. Being lazy gets a lot of flack, but really at the end of the day, it's lazy people that figure out an efficient and quick way to do something, and they spend less time doing things than relaxing. And I'm like, that's what I want to be. I just want to be lazy about it. I want it to get done right, but I want to be completely lazy about it.
Halectic said, I just submitted to an exhibition for the first time today. I'm an introvert, so getting over the anxiety was hard, but I'm trying to collect rejections this year.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
And that's so great. That is so great, because that's the way that you do it, right? So you're in this place, right? And because you're in this place, you feel introverted, you feel like whatever. And like, the longer you stay there, you kind of protect yourself from being there, and you don't grow outside of that. But then doing something like this causes you to have to like grow outside of that. And then the more you deal with it, or setting the intention of trying to collect as many rejections, and then you get to that place where you realize like the rejections don't matter. They don't matter. And so like that fear behind all that stuff it never goes away completely, because I think everyone, no matter what they identify with, everyone has that fear to one extent or another. But it just becomes less serious, less end of the world-ish.
Before you know it, you just like become a badass version of yourself that is like excited about facing fears.
Yeah.
Diane said, I have so many projects that I want to do, but I have to prioritize the most important. And I have had to create a soft schedule to give myself room to breathe.
Yes, flexible.
Totally.
Be flexible with your schedule, and always, always, always find a way to schedule in downtime and also schedule in the possibility of shit hitting the fan time. Downtime and shit hitting the fan time. Like giving yourself that flexibility that, you know, I get real rigid sometimes with my schedules. And honestly, like I get the least amount done when I'm rigid with my schedules. Being flexible has always been the key. You know, if anybody wants to know a secret and how it is that we accomplish so many things, it's being extremely flexible with our schedules. Yeah.
Most definitely. Valerie said, transformation is definitely my year. I filed papers yesterday at the courthouse to change my previous married last name to a family name that isn't even my maiden name, but has a lot of meaning.
I love it, Valerie. That's awesome.
Congrats, Valerie.
New year, new you. Yeah.
Zara said, be careful with labeling yourself. It's an identity and everything flows through that filter, so choose your ideal label.
Yep.
Definitely. Sage advice.
That's why I love Esther's like being a unicorn, a magical unicorn. I'm like, that is a great label.
Unicorn.
Yeah.
Susan said, great, Helectic. I did that last year. It will be fine. Sarah said, I love solitude and I get very little. So maybe that's your word for this year.
Maybe that's your word. You know, make some time for solitude. Make some time. Set some boundaries. Do it.
Barbara said, love the sculpture.
Thank you, Barbara.
Inert Flow said, I'm an extremely introspective extrovert. People are cool, but so is the quiet to think. Totally.
Yeah.
Both are groovy.
I can relate with that. Yeah. I can relate with that a lot.
Ginny said, that's probably why I'm always saying, you don't know me. I even had a t-shirt that said that.
I love it.
So good. I work best under pressure, said Sarah. Deadlines. You know, sometimes I feel like we do work well under pressure because we snap out of the overthinking and we just like let our internal compass guide us. And sometimes that's the most effective thing we can do. I think that I was investigating why it is that I function well under pressure, and I realized it's because I don't think myself to death when there's pressure.
So the key there is to not think. You
yes.
know, when you
that's
do
my
have,
truth.
when you have plenty of time to just not think about it. Yeah, because the only time that I've run into an issue with commissions is when I'm overthinking it. Well, the only time I run into an issue with anything that I'm creating is when I'm overthinking it. I'm overthinking it. I'm thinking like, what is the client going to think, or what are people going to think? Is this going to look good to, you know, especially when I'm thinking about like how other people are going to react to the art and whether or not it's going to look like what it's supposed to look like to other people. Like there's too much stress there. And then I start overthinking, and really like when you stop and you analyze that, it's like, you don't know what other people are going to think. You're going to think a bazillion things that you can't even think of. So why even concern yourself with what other people are going to think about your art, your career, your life? Like you have no control over that. You might as well just focus on what it is that you want. And
Let's save
not
thinking for fun. The fun. Like thinking's supposed to be fun. Let's just stop using thinking against ourselves.
That's true.
Diane said, I'm a total introvert with an attitude that can fill a room. Aurora said, the new sculpture Rafi made reminds me of some of the creatures that my friend Matthias paints.
Oh, cool.
Neato. Sarah said, fear of looking stupid.
No fear of looking stupid. Sarah, no matter what you do, how you act, how you behave, you're always going to look stupid to someone.
I embrace looking stupid.
So
I've made it part of my career path.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That's one of the reasons that like just about every thumbnail that I put out there has like my stupid face. Like I'm just making a stupid face on it. Because it's too easy to take yourself too seriously and be too worried about looking stupid. And it's like, you've got no control over that. You got no control over what other people think. You might as well not bother yourself too much with it and move on and do what you want.
I feel like all my favorite people embrace looking stupid and have a laugh about it.
Yeah.
Diane said, I'm a Capricorn and I can work myself to death for getting self-care and free time. It's a struggle.
Yeah, I am not a Capricorn, and that is my struggle. And that's one of the reasons that my word that I'm focusing on is magic, because I grew up in an environment where the harder you work, the more you benefit from that.
And the
right?
more worthy you are of
And the
it.
more worthy you are of it. And honestly, I know way too many artists and too many entrepreneurs and too many people out there that don't work that hard, and they benefit very much from what they do. So I'm like, yeah, I don't think that that's true, you know.
I want to do the least for the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah, exactly.
But like emotionally the least, like not even physically the least, just like, you know, have the fun and not the stress. I made a TikTok account, said Helectic, for my art right before Christmas and got my first non-friend follower today. Congrats.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. Embrace the cringe, said Sarah.
Embrace the cringe. Yeah.
Zara said, yep, I embrace awkward mistakes, etc. It makes me laugh and enjoy my journey.
It makes it so much more fun when you're able to do that. Hey, Jinja.
Hi, Jinja. Fam, caught you. Hope the... Oh, no, I can't
behind the
see it
little
because
heart
it's
thing.
behind the heart icon. Hope the heart emoji is treating you well. That's what it says for
It
us
is.
right now. It is.
It is. The heart
Mm-hmm.
emoji is definitely treating us well.
Once the ticker tape moves, I'll know what it says. It'll be like the big reveal.
All right. So one last thing as we close out the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What, and I'm going to ask this word out there, or this for the rogues. You've heard all these words. You presented your word. And just in the ticker tape, go ahead and say, what is your intention? And if it has turned into a sentence, what is your mantra for 2024? You know, like what is the thing that, because I've been inspired by a lot of you guys. So I'm thinking, I love the idea of magic, obviously, and transformation, right? And I do love the idea of slowing things down. Mm-hmm. So, it's how would I combine those into a mantra? I think it would be magic. The magic of life allows me to be extremely lazy and transformative
And benefit greatly.
and benefit greatly from my laziness.
Hope the day is treating you well. It is indeed,
The day-
Jinja.
thank you. Yes, it is. It is.
Jenny said, if I didn't look stupid, I wouldn't have a look. I 100% relate to that, Jenny. Jinja said, Jenny, we share good looks. I love it. Jinja also said, create or be consumed. Methinks.
Yeah.
I think mine would be, if I had a mantra attached to my word feel, it would just be feel your way.
Feel your way. That is
Feel
so
your
good.
way. Mm-hmm.
Man, you are a wordsmith.
Sometimes.
You really are.
Other times, words just don't work. And that's okay, too.
Jenny said, just believe. I love it, Jenny.
That's
Just
really
believe.
good.
That's a great mantra. Like when you're running into a roadblock and you're like, just believe.
Maybe I'll add to mine, stupid. Feel your way, stupid. And that'll remind me to laugh.
I think, you know, I think the best mantras are the ones that infuriate people. You know what I mean? Because I just thought about that with Jenny's mantra, like where you're running into a roadblock and you've got all these like well-meaning friends or family, and they're all like, "Well, you should be worried about that," like, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, "No,
I'm cool.
I'm cool. Just believe." And they're like, "What do you mean, just believe?" It's like, just believe. And I feel like those are the most powerful ones, where like, you know, people who are like addicted to looking at the problems of life, like we are the people that they get infuriated by because, you know, and I feel like that's the life of an artist, is like artists are infuriating for normal people.
Yeah, we can definitely be. We can be inspiring and also infuriating.
Yeah.
A mixture of both. A very, very dear friend of ours said with a smile on her face, you really can ride the good vibes
You really-
to success.
I love it.
With the smile that you knew, like, I understand the magic and can't nobody take this. And I love it.
That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Sarah said, yes, when I when I hesitate with ideas that pop in my mind, just believe. That's very
Just
good.
believe.
Leslie, thanks for touching base with everyone today. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you to all of you for being here. Gwendolyn said, I think mine will be at peace with all the craziest
good.
in life.
At peace. I like that.
Helectic said, lean into the cringe is my
That's
theme.
awesome.
That's
I love
really
it.
good.
I love it.
Very, very awesome. Valerie said, magic transformation, let myself bloom. And my new last name is actually Bloom. That's super cool.
That is
Love it.
amazing. That is awesome.
One life mantra of mine said, Jinja, no Roberts, Jinja. Dude, it really does piss people off, said Jenny.
It does. It does. It does. I find, and I find joy in that because I know that somewhere underneath all that piss offedness,
Piss offedness.
there is inspiration. There is inspiration to be found.
That's
in
why
that.
they're mad.
Yeah.
Because you got them in the feels.
Yeah.
And they don't want it, but they do. My mantra is breathe to enter a frequency of flow to create space for unexpected opportunities.
I love it.
Great
I love
mantra.
it. Sarah said fearless.
Fearless.
That is great. Oh, fearless is a great mantra. That's a great word. Mm-hmm. Every morning, Sarah, you wake up and you just paint a little thing that you put somewhere where you could see it when you wake up and let it say, I am fearless. Or remember that you are fearless today. I love that. Well, this was great, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us on this very crazy day. And thank you guys so much for being here. Rogues, you are amazing, as always. And for anybody listening to this, you guys are awesome as well. We absolutely adore you. And if you like this and you want to listen to more like this, go ahead and click somewhere around here to subscribe. And other than that, you want to say goodbye, Clee?
Good day.
Adios.